following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Hey everyone, and welcome to 50 Shades of Bullshit. I'm your host, Christine Lalonde, and this is the podcast where we uncover the truth about online dating. Now let's begin.
Hey, hello, I'm Christine.
I'm Jada.
And this is 50 Shades of Bullshit. So Jada.
Yes.
Is it as damn cold where you are as it is in the Midwest right now?
Absolutely not. No, it's it's probably like, I would say maybe 40 degrees, but you're in Burbank, right? It's
actually I'm in Dana Point right now. I'm right on the ocean. I'm at my boyfriend's house, and it's pretty warm. I mean, it's chilly for Southern California, but not like everybody else.
13 below. It's not that. No, it's not bad.
I'm wearing shorts, and
I'm jealous.
I thought I'd get in the, supportive, mood for the Midwest, which is, so I wear my high socks, and then with my high socks, I thought, wait, I'm going to get in the holiday spirit because Christmas is in a few days. So I thought I'd wear my Jack Nightmare Before Christmas socks.
Let me see them. I see that you're getting up to show me. You are so ridiculous.
There you go. Isn't that cute?
I love it. Very festive.
Yeah. So in my little workout shorts, I'm going to work out later. So our show today, queer interracial dating. I have said international more times than I can tell you. Okay. I don't know why I keep getting interracial and international mixed up. It's the same difference, just different.
Somewhat, just different.
I cannot associate anything in my life with queer, except for 90% of all my friends are either gay, lesbian, queer, trans, whatever. I was
everything.
Yeah. I almost said something that could have gotten me in trouble.
I felt like it was coming. That's why I was like, everything.
Yeah. Almost got me in trouble. I was just, briefly, married to somebody who was asexual. There, I said it. That was fun. Not sorry. So, what's happening is I can relate to interracial dating because I love men of culture. I love that olive complexion. I've dated Black men. I've dated Middle Eastern men. I've dated Hispanic. Oh my God, I love the Latin.
Woo! I know we talked about that. Yeah, we talked about it.
And my boyfriend is half Chinese, half Caucasian, and he is beautiful. I just love that mix, I'm bored with the blonde, blue-eyed, white skin. So,
You know what? I have not dated. Have I dated? I'm not going to count like elementary school or middle school other than, but I have not dated interracially, excluding like fourth grade and maybe a date or so in high school. So I don't think that counts.
All right. Well, like I said, I have a lot of friends who are gays, lesbian, trans, and I just, for me, people are people, and I almost quoted the song.
The song?
People are people, so
why should it be?
Yeah, why can't we get along so awfully? So, for me, dating is dating. Marriage is marriage. Love is love. It doesn't matter who or what you are.
Yeah.
But I guess, there is a need for different, dating type coaches and different kind of matchmakers, to specialize in all these different things. And today we've got Daphney, who does specialize in that. Let me tell you a little bit about Daphney before we bring Daphney on. So Daphney, oh my gosh, is it Poyser? Did I say
Poyser.
it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. She's the founder and CEO of Fern Connections. It is an LGBTQIA plus matchmaking and coaching company. After noticing that there was a lack of diversity within the world of same-sex specific dating services, she sought out to create her own company, which she founded on the principle of greater gender, sexual, and romantic inclusivity. So Fern Connections actually started during COVID 2020. We'll have to ask her if it was before or after that it started, and now has headquarters in Texas and Georgia, and it services individuals nationwide within the United States. So let's bring in Daphney and let's have a little girly chit chat with Daphney today.
Hey everyone.
Hi, Daphney. How's it going?
It's cold as heck. Let me just tell you that.
I saw you just said -5 degrees
It's
there.
-5, yeah, it's in Denver.
Wow. So you live in Denver, but you've got headquarters in Texas and Georgia, you said?
Yeah, I kind of go back and forth. So
Okay.
right now I am in Denver, but I'm going to be in Texas in a couple of weeks, and I'm actually moving back to Texas permanently because I have never in my life experienced 13 below, temperatures, right?
Stephanie's like, get me out of here.
Yes,
I'm done.
No, my business originated out of Texas, so I'm going back. The back and forth is a lot for me.
Yeah. Well, Denver's a beautiful place, but if you're going to Texas a lot, I can see how it can be a pain in the ass to be going back and forth. So Daphney, what got you started? How did you come up with the name Fern Connections? What does it mean?
Well, Fern is my name. It's my second name. So it's a name that I always hated as a kid, right? And I always wondered why someone would name me after a plant, right? And then the other thing is when I was in high school, there was this lovely woman. She was probably in her 70s, who was my Spanish teacher. Her name was Fern, right? And I thought, wow, she was the sweetest thing ever. But I just didn't want to have this name that was after a plant and an older woman. Now that I'm an older woman, it's a little bit better. But then it was not cool.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, what made you were you a matchmaker and a dating coach before you decide, for regular old people like us straight folks, or did you just go straight in for the kill for the LGBTQ community?
I've always been part of the community, so that was my first thing. It was yeah, straight people, I don't know about that, but I do know about queer people, right? And so, a lot of my friends are queer. They always have been. My daughter is openly queer. My nephew is openly queer. And so it just makes sense for me to be part of the community.
Is it easy? Here, this is going to be a crazy question. Is it easy to be a straight woman and helping a diverse community of people who are not straight? I mean, do they ever look at you and go, how can you relate?
Me?
How can you help me? How can you relate to me? Because I actually was thinking about this, Daphney, and I was like, okay, how can I place myself in this position? And I thought, okay, I guess that would be like me as a white woman trying to help just one ethnic community and only one ethnic community that's not me, and go, hey, come to me. You know what I mean? I'm not you, but I can help you. So is it like that, or is it not different at all? Or do they not care?
It's not different at all. And the reason why is because, I've always been a good Judy for a long time. So it's not like something that's new to me. I mean, I tell this story all the time, but I met my first openly gay male couple when I was 16 years old, right? So this has been my life. This is not something that I just decided, I'm going to start matching or coaching like queer people, right? This has always been part of my life.
But what did you do before? Because your company started, we were just talking about this. Was it before COVID?
It was actually, so this is the deal. So I was in corporate America for a long time, right? And I was like, okay, I can't do this not one more year. This is not going to work for me. And for those of you who don't know, so I'm a widow, right? I lost my husband in 2019, and I thought, well, I'm transitioning anyway. So if I'm going to transition, let me decide what that looks like, right? So now, so in 2020, right? I left corporate America. I was like, F this shit because I'm done. I came up with my exit plan, but during Christmas, and I was like, fuck them, right? So that was that, and then basically that was the exit plan. I left, and then I was like, what do I do? I didn't know what I was going to do, right? And then the pandemic happened. I was like, okay, what's going on? And that was like when we really didn't know what was happening, right? And so some people may or may not know, a lot of people do know Paul C. Brunson. So Paul, who I follow dearly, started doing these locked in lives, right? Or these LinkedIn lives, right? During the pandemic. And so I started joining them. And then there was these matchmakers on there, that what I call modern matchmakers, right? And I thought, this is cool as hell. This is something that I could probably do. And actually, I was able to like leverage a lot of my experience in corporate America to start my own business. And that's kind of how I learned about it. He told me about the Matchmaking Institute, which I had no clue of before that. And I, did a consultation with them, and I joined right away. That same year, I got my
certification,
coaching certification with them. And that's kind of how I started. Now, having said that, I also hired a wonderful business strategist that was also part of his conversations. And she helped me to, start my business, and they helped me, to learn about matchmaking, right? And of course, I already knew about the queer community that I'm working in.
Your business. Go ahead, Christine.
No. I was just going to ask, how do people find you for the matchmaking and the coaching? I mean, are you out there advertising, or do people? Was it word of mouth?
Yeah, I'm like out on the streets.
Yeah. I help queer people.
You are very active on social media.
Yeah, I actually do that on Instagram. I ask for the people that I'm looking for. But to answer your question, we do a lot of advertising with Google. We do advertising with Instagram and Facebook. And then there's like being part of the Matchmaking Institute. I get a lot of referrals all the time from other hetero matchmakers. And so that's kind of how it works. And then, friends of clients or whatever, people tell them about me. But a lot of people come from Instagram. A lot of people come from Google.
Is a typical matchmaking company now, Jada, aren't you a matchmaker as well?
Now, I know Daphney very well. We've actually done some match collaborations before. So yes.
So Jada in the straight world, Daphney in the gay, lesbian, trans world community. So as Jada in matchmaking, normal matchmaking, just, I don't mean normal, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Straight world, which is not normal, by the way. Nobody's normal. Let's get that straight. Do you guys get a lot of people who are gay, lesbian, and queer who are looking and don't have, and you just don't have a lot to work with, so you refer them to people like Daphney?
Yeah. So for me, that's not necessarily my market. So anytime somebody comes to me and that's kind of what they're looking for, I'll refer them to Daphney or anyone else in the matchmaking world that's part of our group, that I know that's their niche market.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad you're there for people, Daphney. I grew up with I had a teacher. I had my sixth grade teacher was a lesbian, and I didn't know what that even meant. I didn't. I was 6 years old, and I lived in the smallest town in America. And she taught for years and years at our school, and she was our volleyball coach, and I was the star volleyball player. And I remember one one Christmas, she was having a holiday party at her house with her partner, which I thought was her roommate. And I wasn't allowed to go. And I was devastated. I was the only one that didn't get to go, and I didn't understand why. And then now knowing, I asked all my friends I don't understand why I don't get to fucking go. And they were all like, well, it's probably because they're lesbians. And I was like, well, what does that even mean? And they're like, oh, well, they're two women together. I was like, so what does that have to do with me? And I grew up with, like, I believe several of my uncles, my mom's brothers, two of her uncles, gay in the 80s. And, which pissed me off because here my family has people in their lives who they love, who are obviously in the gay community, and they can't be open. It just made me so upset and angry. And I think that's why I tend to love everyone, and I especially love all my gay and lesbian friends and queer and trans friends, But thank you for being there for someone who needs, to find love and guidance. So tell us more about this interracial dating in the queer world. How does this translate for some of us? Because I had April on this last year, and we did talk about interracial dating, and it was a really fascinating episode. But I'm really happy to touch on this today because it is, titled Queer Interracial Dating, and I really want to know more about this. So help us understand where we are in this world.
I don't know that interracial dating to me is like interracial dating, right? I think one of the things that for me, and coming from the South, being from Texas, right? Interracial dating is a little bit different today than it was before. But let me just say, I think the thing that's different with interracial dating in the queer community is that it's a lot more, the queer community is just a lot more accepting of the people that are in the community either way. And I think that's what makes interracial dating easier, right? Now, having said that, of course, there are people who just want to date the same race or the same ethnicity. They don't want to date outside their race. But one of the things that I find that most of the people who come to me want interracial dating, right? And so that's the reason why I wanted to talk about that, because they actually seek me out for that reason, because they wanted, like you were saying before, Christine, you want to date, you've dated, different types of people, different ethnicities. And that's what most of my clients want. And I tell people this story and they think it's crazy, but I don't have too many, white men wanting to date white men. I don't have too many white women wanting to date white people. They come to me because they know that I'm a woman of color, right? And they want to be able to date people of color, no matter what that looks like. And it's really on both sides. And to me, I got the biggest compliment yesterday from someone who said, when you do your advertising, when you do your newsletter, whatever you do, it's like a diverse, group of people. It's like everybody. You can include everybody. It really doesn't matter. And that is really, part of the intent of the business, is to make sure that we can be as inclusive as possible, right? But it's interesting to me when, people come to me when we're doing consultations, and I'm just like, okay, so what's up? What's really the deal? And the deal is that, they see this, this, brown woman, this Black woman, and they want me to match them with someone, similar, right? And I think I love that so much, because I've been dating like, interracially for a little bit now, not for a lot. But when I was in college, I did more of that, right? And so I thought, what, why not? And the way I see it, and I think this should happen in the hetero world too, is that when you open yourself up, you have better chances of finding your person, right?
Yeah.
The more limiting you are, the less likely you may find them, and it's kind of like long distance dating, you should open yourself up to different ways to find people. And dating interracially is one of those, probably one of the best things that you can do. Because if you think about it, and I like to think about this because I'm multiracial, that we all have more in common than we have, than we don't, right? And it's like, we just let some of the things go and be okay with like different cultures and different people and different ethnicities, then I think we would be better off and be able to find our people a lot sooner.
I love that. Well, I tend to like just like people who are really interesting looking. I married several times, and I married all white men, and that was bad news for me. That shit didn't work. But dating interracially for me has been really great. My boyfriend is so beautiful. He's like fucking beautiful. And he's a mixed race, and he's just wonderful. And every Black man that I've ever dated was really really good to me, and every Hispanic man that I ever dated. Yeah, I love the different cultures. Not everybody's perfect, but but I have this friend. Okay. I have this girlfriend. She's going to kill me. I'm not going to say her name because she would kill me. She is this beautiful white woman from the Midwest, and she's a lesbian, and she loves kind of, how do I put this? Black women who are slender, tall, masculine, but beautiful. Do you know what I mean? Like that feminine, masculine look. And she likes that kind of like basketball player looking girl. But her picker is off. She has picked the last two girls she picked were bad news for her. I need to set her up with you, Daphney, so you can help her find her person, because she's just too wonderful to keep meeting these terrible people, because unfortunately she's meeting them in all the wrong places, I think. But
yeah. And you do coaching as well, Daphney, right?
I do a lot of coaching. One of the things that I do, and I really do believe this, is that I wouldn't want to do matchmaking if I couldn't do coaching, right? And the thing that I do a lot of pro bono work for people who are like trans or non-binary or genderqueer, whatever that is, right? Because it's like one of the toughest, demographics of people who are looking for love, right? And so I really, just want to be able to like pour into them and help them as much as possible. Now, having said that, I have some of the best, let me tell you, the most wonderful, trans people that I work with across the country. I love them. My heart goes out to them. And I'll just say this about your friend, right? It's like, using a matchmaker is really a good thing. Unfortunately, for a lot of people in the queer community, it's not a common thing, right? I had so many people tell me, I didn't even know that, I could have a matchmaker. I didn't even know that someone did this, right? And so that's really the cool thing about like being able to, advertise and put ourselves out there so that people know that we exist. And it's crazy. And I say this all the time, and someone told me this yesterday too. It's like, we are the only company of its kind in the country and mostly in the world. And the reason for that is because we work with the most inclusive people across the community. And it's really, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. I mean, when I first started, it broke my heart. And then it helped me to like want to have more drive so that I can help more people, right? Because to your point, it's like everybody should be able to have love. Everybody should be able to find people. And it's like, if you can find someone who, and Jada knows this, and I always say this to my clients and to the people that I interview, like the first person that you should be a great match with is your matchmaker, right? And if you can find a great matchmaker who really has your back and who wants to work hard for you to find you who you're really looking for, then that's where you want to go. I mean, dating apps, they suck. And let me just say this about dating apps, because I don't want to go too much on a tangent. But dating apps are so detrimental to queer people of color and just, queer people in general. And it's like, if people can get away from that, they will be a whole lot better off, because the stories that I hear, and just from my own experience, and I want to go back to something that you said before. One of the reasons why I get the queer community is because I am a Black woman. I'm a Black woman, like a lot of queer people who, people don't see me as someone that they want, in their lives long term. They don't see me as someone who, could be their first option, right? And the same thing happens, a lot of times for people in the queer community. And that's how I can relate to them, is because we have some of the same struggles. Even though, yes, I'm a Black woman with curly
Daphney,
hair.
I just want to throw my arms around you right now and give you a big hug. You're my first choice.
It's true. So that's kind of how, we've come together, because we have a lot of similarities when it comes to finding love and relationships and happiness, is that we're not always the first choice. And it's really unfortunate, because, the people that I work with are wonderful people. They are kind and thoughtful and loving. They're smart. They're successful as hell. And it's like, I don't know why anyone wouldn't want to date them or be in a relationship with them.
But they feel more compatible with you, because it's almost like you guys are allies. Even though you may not have the same sexual preference, they feel, as a Black woman, that they can relate to you more so than they could any of these other companies, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't know that it's just about, I think they relate to me maybe because I'm very, I'm just laid back, I'm who I am, right? And let me say this, I tell people this all the time. if I find me a fine ass trans man, I'm going to like go after him. So we have more in common. I'm just saying, I've never hid that. I'm very open about that. So anyone out there, I'm okay with leaving the hetero world. I'm quite
Okay,
okay with that.
okay. I'm confused though. Help me out here. When you say
Uh-oh.
trans man, does that mean it's a woman that that has transed into a man, or a man that has transitioned into a woman?
They were born, or they were, they were assigned female at birth.
Female.
Let me say this, right? And now
Okay.
they're living and living as a man, right?
Okay.
Living
Okay.
as a male today. Now they may have fully transitioned where they have like a penis, like everybody has a penis, or they may be somewhere in between. But yes, I mean all of that. Let me tell you.
Okay. Okay. I
All
love
right,
you, Daphney.
Daphney.
You're
I'm not
hilarious.
shy when it comes to that. I have some wonderful trans male clients, and I'm telling you, I'm like, dang, if they were a little bit older, or I was a little bit younger.
I love it. Well, like my friend, I think that for her, she's just meeting them in the wrong places, and
Mm.
she's not having the opportunity like someone like you who vet people who know who they are, know what they want, and know where they are in life. Unfortunately, I think my friend has ran into people who want to use her like a sugar mama, because she's successful and she's got her shit together. And these are younger women only by like 10 years or so. It's not that big of a deal. It ages to me is stupid, but for her, they tend to want to use her for her money and think they're going to get a sugar mama, where she's just out there wanting to show love, and she is beautiful.
Mhm.
And I think that she needs, honestly, something like the opportunity to work with someone like you.
And let me just say this: we do background checks on everybody that we work with, right? And
Mm,
we
that's good.
also, and we tell everybody that, and that's not a secret. We do background checks on everybody. I work with a company out of Texas that does our background checks, and the person who owns the company is a trans fan. Let me tell you. And
Oh,
so,
that's cool.
yes, so I try to keep things in the community as much as possible. And to your point, like our vetting process is the same for no matter who we work with, right?
Mhm.
And most
Yeah.
of the people that I work with are very successful people, doctors, attorneys, business people, whatever they are, right? And so to your point about your friend, yes, coming to someone like me who can give her someone who's compatible in many ways is what she
Hmm.
needs, right? Because trying to find people like randomly or on dating apps, you run into more of those kind of issues where I'm going to give
Yeah.
you someone who's financially stable, and who's compatible financially with who you are and who you want to be, versus
Yeah.
someone who's just you're meeting off the street, right?
Mhm.
Do you encourage people to continue to go down a path where they say, look, this is what I'm attracted to, and this is just what I'm attracted to? Do you encourage that? Or do you say, hey, can you try to start thinking out of the box here? Because I'm not sure she can go beyond what she's attracted to. Like, she's
Mm.
tried, you know. Um,
We all have like physical, attributes that we're attracted to, right?
yeah.
One of the core parts of my business is that I focus on internal qualities, right? So I'm not really looking, at the outside, initially, right? And I tell all my clients that if you want to work with me, I'm looking for internal qualities, people who are kind and thoughtful, who have, who are considerate and loving. I'm looking at those qualities first, right? And then we can
Yeah.
talk about the aesthetics, right? But that should never be like what you lead with, right? Because what happens with
Okay.
people, we
I
all like,
agree.
we all like certain things, right? So it's like, and we all like,
Hmm.
people to look certain ways. But if you can get past all of that and realize that not a lot of that is sustainable, right? And I want, to build relationships that are sustainable, and yes, you need to be attracted. And yes, you need to have some, physical chemistry and all those things, right? But there's more to a long-term relationship than just how good someone looks, or
Mhm.
how fine they are, whatever, how hot they are, right? That shit will
Hmm.
play out before you know it. And
Mm,
you
yeah.
really just want someone who, at the end of the day, if something like was to happen to you, right? Say you got into a car accident, and you're now like in a position where you aren't the same as where you were before. then you want someone who's going to be there with you no matter what, right? They're not going to run off just because, and I say this because, I was in a situation personally with my late husband who was terminally ill, right? I didn't just decide one day, oh no, he doesn't look the same, oh, he can't do this, and just decide to leave him, right? I think that's crazy, right? And I wouldn't recommend that to anyone because that's not what real love is about. And that's what I'm trying to build for people is, someone who will love them unconditionally for who they are, accept them for who they are. And that's the good thing about when people come to me. Say, for instance, I have these lovely clients who are like HIV positive and undetectable. So for them, I get to lay the foundation. So they don't have to keep telling this story to people and then wondering, is this person going to be upset and not want to date me anymore? So I just tell them up front, this person has HIV and they're, and they're positive and they're undetectable. And if they want to date them, that's cool if they don't. But my clients don't have to worry about those kind of things.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Where would you say I know it's the dating pool is very different with online dating. Where would you say for someone that doesn't necessarily have the resources to hire a matchmaker or to find somebody like you, where would you suggest is a good outlet or a good space for them to go and meet people other than online or like we just talked about having a matchmaker?
I would say, dive into your community, right? And meet people that way. Now, I'm not totally against online dating because I met my last person that way, right? But I met them as a matchmaker and a date coach, not just as your normal Joe, right? It's like, but let me just say this, that I think dating apps can be effective. And I have clients who want to use them. I coach them on how to use them effectively. I help them pick people, and in part of my contract, I actually say that I can match you based on people that I find for you on dating apps, right? Because it's another source and it should be a source. And I've matched several people that way over the last year or so, through dating apps, right? So it's not that I'm against it. I just think that, if you're going to use dating apps, let it be what it is, right? It's a way that can be really harsh. It's a way that can be very superficial. It's a way that can be like, very judgmental and basically, some exclusions happen. A lot of exclusions happen for people of color and people that are like part of the queer community.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree.
Yeah.
I think that I see a lot of different types of people with people are becoming more comfortable talking about being fluid in different like non-binary or queer or I only dress this way in private, but when I'm business, I dress this way. I see a lot of that online, and I always worry that they're not finding the right people. I always worry that they're not in the right space or place to find their person because, I'm on a dating I used to be on a dating app for years and years and years, and I was even having a hard time finding my person. You just come outside of, what people expect of you, and all of a sudden you're going to be in a much more difficult pool of people to find. But as a matchmaker, are you able to like scout out people online and then kind of like reach out to them and say, hey, I have this person I think you might be interested in? Is that how that works? How does that work?
No, typically I don't. I work with my clients, they have people who they match with online, and then I actually help them to decide whether or not I think these people would be a good fit for them. But
I see. Okay.
One of the things that I want to be, I want to say, because you said, like, I think you were married to someone who's asexual, right? And I literally work with straight people, or what I call straight presenting people who are asexual, or maybe they're cross dressers or whatever they are, right? And so it's not just about like someone being queer in a way that it's like, sexually sexual. Let's just say that it could be just, how they identify. And so to your point, if someone, say, for instance, is a cross dresser and they are online, right? Are they going to have limitations with finding people? Probably so, right? Or they're going to find people who are similar to who they are. So it is easier to come to someone like me who can say, I'm looking for someone who is bisexual and also, queer or they're bisexual and they're a male and they're a cross dresser, right? So I can see that's the cool thing about what I do is that I'm not really ashamed or afraid to ask for exactly what I'm looking for. And I think that's the part where if you think about it, it's like even with other matchmakers in this demographic, right, in this niche of LGBTQ plus, I don't know that they're as bold as I am, and I don't know if they are comfortable with being that. But one of the things I know for sure that if you don't ask, you don't get. And to me, I don't really have anything to lose because if people are going to pay me like thousands of dollars to find them people, I want to do everything that I can, to find those people for them.
Right.
You do a lot of community events too. I see you're so active on social media, and you go to a lot of events in Texas, as well as I've seen you do some events in Colorado. So that's probably a huge push as well, because people start to trust you a whole lot more because you're so visible in both of those places. So that's your business is booming. I see it all the time.
You know what I can say, and thank you for that, Jada. I think, and this is kind of to that point of, can I do this as a hetero woman, right? And the question is yes, because I'm not the person who's like standoffish and not involved. I'm the person who, when we did, the movie event in Texas a couple of weeks ago, I was there, right? Yep. I'm the person who will show up at the black tie or show up, for HRC. I am that girl who, like, I'm in part of the community. I'm not just the person who's trying to make the money by like matching for, people in the queer community. I'm the girl who like puts her money where her mouth is. Her money where her mouth where her money is. I don't know how you say it, but I'm that girl who like.
I like to put my money where the mouth is.
I knew you were going to say
where
that,
my
Christine.
mouth, my mouth where the money. Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm that person who, I believe in being part of the community. I don't want to just talk about it. We're the people who will call, the state and say, look, leave our trans kids alone in Texas, whatever that looks like. And, I'm the one who probably buys too much stuff. Let me just say, it's like, do I really need another mug or I don't know, but I'm going to buy it anyway. So I'm really that person. I love, the people, and it's important to me. So it's not just about making money or making matches. It really is about making sure that people know that I'm in it to stay. I'm not going anywhere. This is who I am, and I'm gonna say, like, on the flip side of this, because this happened recently, where someone sent me this really horrible message on social media, and this happens all the time. So people think that just because you're queer, when you're queer, you get hate mail, right? I also get hate mail, but I really don't care. You know what I mean? It's like, if I'm going to choose something, I'm going to choose on the side where it brings me joy and happiness. And that's what I have today.
People are assholes no matter where you are.
Absolutely.
So, we have to take that with a grain of salt and then just not give a shit, because feeding into that is what makes them happy. So I say, I try to nicely acknowledge it sometimes, and most of the time I'm like, fuck off. It's like, no one cares about you. You're alone and bitter, so fuck off.
Yeah.
So Daphney, when it comes to interracial dating, here I want to ask this question about: do you find that in the LGBTQ arena that people are tending to be more open to interracial dating? Or, like, Jada, do you think that you have a lot more interracial dating for the straight world? What is it, one or the other, or is it just nobody gives a shit anymore? We all just love each other?
Well, I can say, for me, to speak to my business, I think I have a healthy amount of both. I will say a large portion of my clients, ethnicity doesn't matter. And I always tell people, the more open you can be, whether it's age, whether it's location, whether it's ethnicity, the more chances you're going to have to find your person. So for me, they're very open. I have very few clients that will only date their own race. And Daphney,
that's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah, you know what? I think for me, and I'll just be transparent because I mean, I don't really care. But I think for me is that the only people who I found who are very adamant are Black people. I mean, where sometimes they say to me, I only want to date someone who's Black. I only, I'm not interested in dating outside of
Really?
my race. Yeah, and those are the only folks who, who come to me. And as a Black woman, I get that, right? I for many
I
years
can understand that. Yeah.
I was married to a Black man. I literally, denied being in a relationship with a white man when I was in college because it was of the pressure, right? So I get that, but I also get that, people are people, and so
Mm-hmm.
I know we're different, and I know that
Mm.
we've been through a lot of struggles, right? When it comes to the Black community and the white community, and there's always going to be something, right? But all I
Mm-hmm.
can say is, to Jada's point, is that the more open you are with finding love, the easier it'll be for you, right?
Yep.
And so most of the people that I work with, I'd probably say 90, 95% of them are looking, they're okay with interracial dating. And I really do believe that's one of the reasons why they come to me is for
Mhm.
that reason. And
Oh,
I'm
that's good.
all for it. I date a person, who's not Black, who's, white. And I have been for the last couple of years. So it's not a thing for me.
That's good. Okay. Okay. I love that. Um,
What do you
hmm.
have big coming up? What are you working on? I know there's some big
Okay, so
projects.
let me just drop some things. Okay, so like, I'm just kidding, but no. One of the big things that I'm doing, and it just came out today, I'm working with Brains Magazine. We're working with Brains Magazine. We just put out our first article with them. You'll have to go check it out. It's under lifestyles. It's like, I love it, right? So that's a big thing. And then we have another really big project that's happening that I can't talk about right now, which will hopefully drop early next year. And it's really exciting. And then, of course, we're starting to do a lot of online events. We just did the movie event, which was like a tearjerker. It was crazy. I'm not gonna lie. And then we have we're going to be doing these Latin dance classes for Valentine's.
Oh, I
Um,
love that.
I mean, yes, we're gonna we're trying to be present in the community and bring some adult entertainment to the community in Dallas and Atlanta, and then we're going to California to do some stuff, right? And so
Cool.
there's a lot happening, and I'm
Right.
probably not thinking about all the things, but yeah, there's a lot of good stuff happening.
That's
Awesome.
great. So,
Oh, let me just say this because for those of you who don't know, I actually am a partner to Kelleher International, right? I actually am their partner in the LGBTQ plus space.
I didn't
Um,
know that.
yeah, that's why I'm saying for those of you who don't know. And I've been working with them for the most of this year, probably starting like in January, February. So yeah,
so
so
say that again. Who are you partnered with?
with Kelleher. Kelleher is
They're a large,
what I would
huge
call a
matchmaking
large,
firm.
yeah, hetero matchmaking firm. They've been around for a very long time.
Hmm.
And so they
Okay.
came to me earlier this year to partner with them so that they
Oh,
could,
wow.
support the LGBTQ plus community.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah.
really great. I find it fascinating that a lot of LGBTQ I can't say it. Too many letters for my mouth. Um, the community of gay, lesbian, trans, queer, non-binary, identify as you please kind of community doesn't realize that there's support out there for them. And that's what I'm hoping to do today, like with you, to show that there are people out there that support them, that want them to find love, that want them to be happy. I mean, the best weddings I've ever done is my gay lesbian weddings. And I just love people who love, and
Aw.
helping people, find their place in within themselves, like with the coaching. I think coaching is huge. I
Mhm.
think that there's been so much that we're only in 2023 almost, but in the 80s it was just barely okay for people to even start to acknowledge that they were gay. I mean, it still was hard. Like people still died and got beaten and were ostracized because they were gay. They were still marrying the wrong sex because they couldn't say that they were lesbian or gay or queer in any way. And we're really still new to this, and it's just it seems so wrong to me. And I love that there's help out there to help people talk to somebody, to communicate with somebody and get the right advice, get the right direction that they need to go. And then when they need support to find their person, that there's someone out there like you, Daphney, that can help them. So we're thrilled to have you here. Yeah. Go ahead, Daphney.
No, I was going to say I appreciate that because it is a big deal for me. Being a mom of a queer child and being an aunt of a queer nephew, it's a big deal for me. So and I just hope that people understand that I'm here for them and I want to be, and I will do everything I can for them to help them find love.
That's great. Well, my daughter is 16. And I've never seen anything like this. With my daughter's friends, they are all so open amongst themselves, talking about who's non-binary, who's queer, who's gay, who's lesbian, who identifies as a he, who identifies as she, their pronouns, their adjectives. I don't know. They're just so open. And, one of my daughter's friends, unfortunately, doesn't feel comfortable or safe to tell his family yet, which is fine. We just all tried to be supportive, to show that, whatever they decide to do, it's okay. So I do like that the new generation of kids are coming in hot and heavy and ready. That what are they, Gen X? Gen X are like, fuck it, we're an X generation.
We're here.
We're here.
Yeah,
we're here and we don't care, and we're queer. We're here and we're queer.
You know what I love? I love when older gays or older people, people who lived in that hetero space are now coming into themselves and saying, you know what, I'm queer, I'm trans, I'm gay, right? I love that because,
I do
to me, yes, the younger people get it. But when I can see someone who's in their 50s or 40s and they say, I've come out of the closet recently, right? And I'm living in my truth. That is so much joy for me because I know, back in the day, how much of a struggle that was for people, right? To your point about marrying, same, the sex, opposite sex just because of peer pressure, or that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. My uncle in the 80s was with a woman, had a baby, had a child. None of us knew. They gave her up for adoption. Thank God a few years ago she found us. We love her. But he went through a lot. He came out, he was a product of the 70s and 80s, and he couldn't talk about being gay. It took him he went through the AIDS pandemic and really had a tough one. My other uncle who was gay too, they really got too heavy in drugs because it was too difficult for them. So I hate seeing that, and I like seeing people being able to come into their own, be who they want to be without any judgment. Hopefully this world, all of this world, will someday not give a flying fuck what color you are, what ethnicity you are, what sex you want and love and don't love. I mean, hopefully someday we'll just be people.
I love that.
You
are the best, Daphney. I love you, love you, love you. You're one of my favorite people.
You too. I love Jada. She's one of the first matchmakers I ever met, right when I came into.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you for being here today, Daphney. This was great. I really love it. And I've been really wanting to talk more about not only interracial dating, but also matchmaking and coaching and dating for people who like other sexes. And for me, I love that. I think that's exciting. So thank you for being here. Next week, Barry's coming back. Barry is going to come and talk to us some more.
From our clubhouse.
Yeah.
Yep. Barry is quite wise in his ways. So with that English accent, he's going to grace us with his presence. So, but Daphney, you're welcome to come back. If you hang tight when we sign off, we can talk to you for another minute. But I just want to let everybody else know out there, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for being here every week. And until next time, same place, same time, keep it real.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share with your friends, like and follow us on Instagram at 50 Shades of _bullshit and Facebook at 50 Shades of Bullshit. Thanks so much for listening, and we really hope to see you again next week.